Devon is in search of a new opponent for his upcoming right arm super match. Who that arm wrestler may be, let's try to find out. Brzenk turned 60 on 15th of July and he is now officially a senior citizen in the arm wrestling world and in life in general. The dreams that many famous arm wrestlers, many fans, and if we talk about famous arm wrestlers, Devon also saw that dream of seeing Brzenk become a world champion when he was almost 60 years old. It looks like that dream may never come true. Although John was really close in that Kidargali-Ongarbayev super match and he wanted that rematch afterwards as well, but he couldn't get it and looks like it is kind of over. The last slightest shot, the slimmest opportunity that John may have can be a super match against Oleg Petrenko, but for some reason, despite having more than a decade of arm wrestling experience, Oleg doesn't look like the same guy that he was 1 year ago. So that's almost a slim to none chance for Brzenk. 3 years ago, on 31st of July, Brzenk made his comeback in an official super match against Chance Shaw, which he ended up winning 3 pins to 1. Initially, Chance just wanted to practice with John. John didn't really respond to that, but then later on, after some time, he messaged Chance and somehow this planned practice turned into an official super match, which kind of sparked a comeback fire in John. And since then, we have seen John in 14 amazing high-level super matches. And this upcoming Leonidas Arcona super match at East vs West 14 will be the 15th one. So that is an average of 5 super matches per year. The fittest, the youngest arm wrestlers don't have that many super matches now, despite having multiple opportunities. And somehow the GOAT is doing that while being 60 years old. This is nothing short of unbelievable. On Engin's podcast, John mentioned that in round 1 against Leonidas Arcona, he will try to force the hook by grabbing him low by the wrist. Now this can be a deadly strategy, especially against someone like Leonidas who is known for his pronation. But John says that he likes to force the hook on strong arm wrestlers who tend to rely on their hand a lot. But still, John basically revealed his complete strategy to Leonidas without any hesitation at all. Typical Brzenk style. Leonidas is always liked by the fans. He is supported by the fans root for him for obvious reasons because of his humble personality, but this is one match where most of the people may be rooting against him, may be predicting against him. And still, this is something that he wouldn't mind at all. Leonidas mentioned that after this match, he would like to go against Irakli Zirakashvili on the left arm. He wants Engin to give him that opportunity. Now, Irakli is a big name, but still I wouldn't like to see this match too much for obvious reasons. Irakli is not known at this super match level for his left arm. It may be as good as his right, who knows, but we have not seen that yet. So instead, I would like to see Leonidas go up against someone who is kind of known where he stands on the left arm. And if that is not a condition, how about a Travis Bagent match? About a year or so ago, I saw Matt Mas kind of comfortably handle Leonidas on the left arm. Let's say Leonidas has improved a lot since then and he's kind of equal to Matt. Still, I think a Travis Bagent match on the left arm can make a lot of sense. But let's see what future holds for Leonidas Arcona on both left and right arms. So Leonidas posted a video on his Instagram doing the Devon pronation lift with 77.5 kilos. Even Devon commented under that video, "Insane lift, everyone is in trouble." Now obviously, whenever somebody does this lift, people like to criticize especially this lift a lot. Even with that extra open angle, this is probably the second heaviest lift that anyone has ever done after Levan Saginashvili. So it needs to be respected despite the open angle. And Arm Wrestling Theory did an interesting video analyzing this lift and also Monster Michael Todd's lift, how open the angle was. I'm not sure how he calculates that, but it looks cool. Usually you would like to stay as tight as possible, as close to 90 degrees as possible in this lift. But for guys like Devon or Leonidas Arcona or Monster Michael Todd who feel really strong even if their arm angle is opened up a little bit, it may not reduce in terms of the effectiveness on the actual table that much for these guys who have that strong arm open lock. So for regular human beings, this lift may not translate that much if the arm angle opens too much, but for guys like them, it still matters a lot. And speaking of this pronation lift, monster Michael Todd hit a new PR with 71.8 kilos. This is really good improvement, especially considering that Michael started with less than 65 kilos, I guess, and that too not so long ago. So this lift seems to be doing well for Michael, and if it is actually translating on the table, he may be getting really strong. His hand is something that he was lacking since his comeback. If he gets it back, then maybe everyone is in some real trouble. We recently saw Michael Todd post a photo with none other than The Undertaker. Now that's amazing. That's the second time we are seeing Michael with the dead man, and this time there may be a podcast as well. I talked with Rebecca Todd and she told me that the podcast will be on Undertaker's channel by the end of this month. So WWE superstars, and not only just a superstar, probably the biggest one of them all, is inviting an arm wrestler for a podcast. That's really amazing news. In one of his podcasts, Engin mentioned that Devon will have a super match in November. But who is the opponent? In one of the videos, Devon was heard saying that in the future he would like to have a match against probably Michael Todd, David Dadikian, and Ibrahim Sagov. So David is out of the question right now because of his injury. So the opponent in November may be monster Michael Todd. I'm not sure if people would really like to see this super match because the rivalry as of now is kind of settled. Devon won in a very close match in 2011. Then Michael Todd took his revenge in 2018 in the closest match ever. And in 2021, Devon finally won the battle with a 6-0 score, and he kind of gained an upper hand with 2-1 in overall competition with Michael, and that was a dominant win. So the rivalry is kind of dead here, and I'm not sure if Michael is back to a strong level where he can actually be a challenge for Devon. So for that reason, I would like to see Devon go against maybe Ibrahim Sagov is a better option. If not, then Ivan Matushenko will be perfect, and Michael should have another super match before that. Well, he's having another super match, and that is against Kamil Jablonski. So maybe Engin and Devon are waiting for Michael's performance against Kamil, and let's see how it goes. But my first choice would be Ivan Matushenko, second choice will be Ibrahim Sagov, and then third maybe monster Michael Todd. What are your thoughts about this? Who would you like to see Devon Larratt face next? Please mention in the comments, like the video and subscribe.